All right, what's popping, y'all? It's Jeff Bruin Steel, and this is gonna be NBA Finals pick with Kiernan. What's up?
How are you?
Good, good, good. So the NBA Finals is coming up. So just a preview of who's gonna be in the finals. It's going to be the Eastern Conference champions, the Toronto Raptors. To our surprise, the NBA community is probably shocked by it. I'm not surprised myself, but and then once again, the Western Conference champions, Golden State Warriors. So I'll just tell you my predictions. Um, I just want to look at like how each team like got to the finals. So let's start with the West. The Warriors had to go for the Clippers in 6 games in the first round, and then 6 games against the Rockets, and then a 4 game sweep in the Western Conference Finals against the Portland Trailblazers. And the Toronto Raptors, they had to go through the Magic in 5 games in the first round, and then Philly in a magical win in 7 games. That unbelievable game winner by them in Game 7 in that Philly series. And then in the Eastern Conference Finals, they took down the number one seed Bucks in 6 games. Um, my prediction, and of course, Toronto Raptors, to my surprise, has the home court advantage. So it's going to be Steph Curry, and surprisingly, the Warriors managed to get to the finals without Kevin Durant. So Kevin Durant was injured in a few series, so it was really surprised that they did well without him. But I think either way, they will still did well with KD. But Steph Curry was blazing. He didn't do too well. I think one of the games he didn't score at all in the first half in one of the games, and then second half he scored like 26 in the third quarter and fourth. So he went ham in second one of the games in the second half. And Toronto Raptors, they got I can't remember his name. What's his name? Leonard? I don't remember. But I think this is gonna go 7 games. I think Toronto's gonna put up a fight, and but I think the Warriors. It's gonna be the Warriors since it's the NBA rigged and stuff. So I think the Warriors are gonna win. I think they split the first four, so there will be one road win and one home game. Game 5 is in Toronto. I think for some reason Toronto wins that, takes 3-2 lead. I think they go back to Golden State, and then Golden State's hang out, and I think Golden State wins Game 7 in Toronto. So I think Game 7 is gonna be a dogfight, and I think maybe Golden State wins in a really good overtime. Maybe or we would probably go overtime if that's a Game 7. So my prediction is Golden State in 7. So gonna give it the floor to you. What's your prediction?
Um, I am not a Toronto Raptors fan, but I personally believe Kawhi Leonard is at the best level of his basketball career. This man has literally run the whole team, and he has never complained about his game. I'd say Kawhi Leonard has always improved his game every time he is up or down. Um, this man plays tremendous defense. He literally runs up the whole squad, and whenever the Raptors are hot, he doesn't need to score. He can always pass it out to his shooters, Danny Green or Kyle Lowry, or anybody that has a good jumper. But it's mostly the defensive effort that Kawhi Leonard puts up for the team. Kawhi Leonard is arguably, one of the most versatile players in the NBA. I personally believe that his game is rooted in such a um, like wisdom driven manner, and he's so like mentally championed to take on the competition that stands before him. I think personally, when it came down to the Raptors versus Bucks series, he pretty much proved himself as a player that no man can stop him. And even if the Raptors are down by 20 or up by 15, Kawhi Leonard seriously takes over and holds out for a good win for the team. My prediction for the Raptors versus Golden State series is Raptors in 7, having Kawhi Leonard being the Finals MVP.
All right. Any thoughts on like maybe the Warriors? You did talk about most of this, the Raptors. Any thoughts on the Warriors, like in the finals, like what they can do to win?
I mean, the Warriors are known for threes, and I think you can definitely agree with me that the Warriors, they're not a team that you should slouch on. The Warriors, in my opinion, I think that they're like any other team that says that they're good, but with strength comes with weaknesses. Like I don't know if you're familiar with the Warriors versus San Antonio Spurs series back in I believe 2012 through 2014, I believe. But during those years, the Golden State Warriors has had a very tough time defeating the San Antonio Spurs and Steph Curry, which were one of his prime years coming up as a point guard. He had a tough time dealing with the Spurs defense, and I personally believe that with great defense comes with great outcomes, and defensive efforts are vital in basketball to win championships. I personally believe that if the Raptors played that same amount of defense of what the Spurs did to the Warriors a few years back, then the Warriors would be very easy for the Raptors to beat. But then again, I think the Warriors, they've been practicing with a legendary coach that has given them good play styles to run their offense better. But I personally believe it's like the players that keeps them strong and alive within the playoff runs. But I think with the Warriors, they're only good because they actually come together pretty well. And a few years back, you couldn't say that, about them because, they were actually terrible at one point. So this is actually the generation for them to actually show themselves who they are as a team and actually prove to the world if they could actually compete, actually win more titles. And if anything, if they do continue to win more titles, they would be just at that same level, close to Michael Jordan's era. But then again, I personally believe that the Warriors they're beatable, but you have to play extra defense on them. You cannot let them shoot threes. You have to force them to drive to the rim and basically force them to their weaknesses in order to, close them out.
All right, all right. I I personally think the Raptors can have a chance. I mean, they played well against the Bucks. They took the number one seed. But this is a Warriors, but I honestly think if the Raptors to win, probably still be 7 games. It could go six. Our 7 game prediction can be wrong, but some people say Raptors in five. Some people say the Warriors will be a sweep. I think the Raptors are good enough a team to win at least like 2 games or three. So I'm still going with Warriors in seven. So yep. So that's our prediction. I got the Warriors in seven, and Kiernan here has the Raptors in seven. So thank you guys for watching. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I personally believe Kawhi Leonard, he's a beast. I think this is his time to shine because this wasn't a team that he never chose to be with, and
Yes.
he wanted to be on a championship winning team, and I think it's literally Kawhi Leonard's Allen Iverson era to show to the world is he ready to actually take that next step and actually take people out and actually win for being like the best of the best.
Excuse me. Another thing. Would you consider the Bucks one of the I don't know. I mean, there are people saying that the Bucks are the worst one seed. I think they're a really good one seed. They were just beaten by a better team. They beat this. I mean, like first round, they who did the Bucks play in the first round? I don't remember, but I know they beat my Celtics in like I think it was like 5 games or something. Would you consider the Bucks a worse number one seed or like a okay like?
I would say the Bucks are a very good team. I've always thought of Giannis Antetokounmpo to be a up and coming player, but before then, I've always thought of him to be a very garbage horrible player, but now I kind of take those words back because it seems like almost every single year he's kind of like championship ready to actually win a title. But then again, I think it's just of the team that he's with, and sometimes he takes it a bit too far with his ego to think that he is like the best. But then again, he came from like a really tough background, and I believe that the Bucks have been very successful with him. So if next year becomes a reality, if the Bucks make it to the finals, that would be a very interesting battle. If we could see, a Golden State Warriors versus Milwaukee Bucks, because Milwaukee has never won a title. Correct me if I'm wrong, and it's time that we need to see new champions in this era.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was a worse number one seed. I don't remember the team. I believe it was the Raptors. I think I'm not quite sure, but the number one seed,
Yes, it was.
he got swept by Cleveland a couple years ago. I think it was.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, like, I wanted to add in to say that I think literally, like, the Raptors actually made a very like unexpected but lucky choice to get Kawhi Leonard, because if he does actually pull this off to lead the team to a chip, then the San Antonio Spurs made a very horrible decision in trading him to Toronto. And then again, the San Antonio Spurs has invested in a poor but somewhat, valuable, mediocre, level DeMar DeRozan that has literally made the Toronto Raptors into a somewhat good team to become a very elite team because of his horrible reputation and his resume into the playoffs that have made the Raptors change to a new leaf.
Yeah. Um. Anything else? I'm about to wrap this up, but anything else?
Yeah,
I would never knew Steph Curry actually had a brother. I don't know what I was thinking, but they faced off in the Western Conference Finals. Steph
yeah,
Curry's brother was actually on the Trailblazers.
yeah. Seth Curry, he's a very good player.
Yeah.
He's
Um,
gotten better, but I think with genetics comes with advantages. So
yeah.
Steph Curry is probably one of the best point guards that could just bang threes, and I
Yeah. His
mainly I mainly think it's just because that he's been living and dying by the three, and you barely see Steph
yeah
Curry driving
yeah
for a
his
layup.
his brother's name is Seth, so it's Seth, right? So
Yeah,
that was actually interesting to see them square off. I can't imagine like if I have a brother and we're both in the NBA facing against each other in the conference finals. It's just too scary. And you have parents; they don't know who to cheer for. They actually had a photo of a dad wearing a Blazers shirt, and then the mom was wearing a Warriors. So it was weird.
yeah. I
But
think
go
wait,
ahead,
what?
go again.
I think if Steph Curry does play his heart out in these finals, then I will take back everything that I've said about him, and I will actually put him down as a top tier player in the NBA, because eventually teams would want to break apart with the Warriors, so that way the Warriors can have a brand new team for different players, but I personally believe that the Warriors are going to try to take a pay cut and just try to stay with Golden State as long as they can, or with the players that are in it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that way, they could just try to win as many chips as they can before everything falls apart.
All right, if that's all, I'm Bruin Steele, and this is K Rod. We are out. Thanks for watching. This is our NBA Finals talk and predictions. So we're out. See you guys later.
Thank you.